1st. Happy October 1st. Got my updated color for the month. Hi guys, happy October. Oh my gosh, I am so excited it's October. It is Preptober officially for NaNoWriMo minded people. Though for me, not too much is going to change because I'm just working on finishing my final draft before the end of December, or 2018, however you want to think about it. Today is Monday, which means that I have class tonight and I have homework to do before class because I did not work on it this weekend. I had a really busy weekend. I had friends stay over, and then yesterday I went with one of my best friends to go wedding dress shopping, which was really, really fun for her, not for me. It was fun for both of us, but it was wedding dress shopping for her because she is also getting married. Anyway, I just wanted to start giving updates for this week. I realized that in just a few days is going to be the 1-year anniversary of when I finished my first draft for my book, which is like really cool. Yeah, and now here I am. So much has changed in 1 year. It's crazy. And my book is even not further along than I hoped. I had hoped I would be done with my final draft by now, but it is even better than I had ever dreamed, and it's in a really good place, and I'm really excited about it, even more so than when I first finished my first draft. So I just feel rejuvenated this time of year. I love fall. I feel like the heat fog is coming off, and the air is crisp, and it's funny, it's like the trees around me are dying, but I feel more energized. I love running in the fall. It's like the perfect temperature of high 50s, low 60s, and just, I am ready. I'm ready for this month of October. Got my fall earrings. We're ready to go. So right now I am sitting down at the computer to edit. Sorry I keep playing with my hair. I feel like my face looks extra round today. Maybe it's just me. I'm sitting at the computer to edit some of my classmates' work before class tonight. So to give you an idea more about the work I do for my class other than my own writing, we also have 2 workshops every day in both of my classes, sometimes 3. So each student classmate submits 20 pages of work of their own, and the rest of the class goes through those pages, leaves comments, and then writes a critique letter where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, suggestions, or just overall impressions, just kind of like a letter to the writer. And so that means that every week I have about 80 pages of critiques to do, including my own, or not including my own. So it's a lot, and it seems like a lot of extra work when you look at that number itself. However, what I gain from reading other people's writing, and more importantly hearing other people's critiques about their work, is extremely valuable. Sometimes they'll have a specific scene being critiqued that I have a similar scene but that hasn't yet been critiqued, and so I'm able to hear their feedback before I even present mine. And just, you learn techniques and things that you never would have thought of, and feedback you never would have thought of, and it's just been a lot more helpful than I could have anticipated, just hearing other people's work get critiqued and critiquing it myself, because I'm realizing, reading it from writing that's not my own, I can see things more clearly than I can on my own. So it's like, oh, I get it now. I get why it's not a good idea to open with a side character or something like that. That's just a weird example, but yeah, just wanted to share that. Wow, I look... Hey guys, so I am homesick today. I woke up this morning with like the worst headache. I've had a headache for a few days now, like a lingering one, because I've been trying to go off of coffee. I do this every once in a while when I have trouble sleeping, like even though I've had really late hours, and what does that even mean? Even though I have been sleeping like probably only 6 hours some nights with my classes and everything, I've been having trouble falling asleep. And so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do like a coffee refresh where I just switched to decaf for like a week or so, and I'm able to sleep a lot better. But the downside is you do get like withdrawal headaches, and it's a type of headache where medicine does not touch it. Like I could take 3 Advils and it won't do anything. So that happened starting yesterday, and this morning I woke up and it was just the worst, and I almost caved and just had regular coffee, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fight through it. And I got dressed, showered and everything, and then I was putting on my shoes, like about to head out the door, and I couldn't find my headphones. And it's so stupid, but that combined with just how I was feeling, I just broke down crying. And Zach was like, what is wrong? And I just, and then with my headache, I often get nauseous too if it gets bad enough. And just from, I think, crying and like everything, I just started to feel really nauseous, and I was like, I cannot today. I just can't. And I've never taken a sick day at this job anyway. So I did, and I have been fighting a cold too. And so then I was really sniffly and like congested, and just, there was a lot going on this morning. It's like afternoon now. And so I went to bed at like 8:30 last night and got up at 6 because I've just been really tired. And then after Zach left for work, so I wrote an email that I wasn't gonna stay home today, I went back to bed and I just woke up. So I've slept, I don't even know how many hours now, like 13 hours, 14, I don't even know. But I feel like for the first time, I don't even know, like in a year, I feel wide awake. It is crazy. Like there is no lingering tiredness left in my body. I feel amazing. Oh my god, like, and like there's probably 0 caffeine left in me too after this few days. So I am just like naturally wide awake, and it feels fantastic. I still like don't feel great sick wise, because like I said, I am fighting a cold. Like it's just like on the horizon. Zach was really sick out last week, and I've been like pushing that off. But alert wise, I am like it's weird. Is this how you're supposed to feel? Like this is amazing. I just want to share that with you guys. Sometimes what you just need is to sleep for like a whole day. And then you're going to feel amazing. Ugh, I should take more sleep days. But on the weekend, you don't want to do it because you're like, it's my weekend. I don't want to waste my weekend day. I'm going to keep this in mind for the future. Hey guys. Oh my gosh. I have not picked up the camera in what feels like a week. I am so sorry about that. It has been a crazy busy week, 2 weeks. I don't even know how long it's been. But I decorated the windows for October. Aww, trick or treat. Oh, the sun's bright. So to make it up to you guys, this weekend I'm going to try and film so much more. I have a big weekend ahead, huge one, because I'm going to bring all of my feedback that I've received on my writing so far and go through it and re-outline my story. So I'm not changing too much, don't get scared, but there are some somewhat big elements of my story that I'm going to adjust and that I've been working through, mentally thinking about, mostly just trying to tighten up character relationships and think about how characters are working together. So instead of everyone just being kind of disconnected from each other in the beginning of the story, I'm going to tighten those, and it will make sense in a little bit when I explain this weekend. But basically, instead of having everyone be such complete strangers, which is what the majority of the characters are to each other now, I'm gonna connect them a little bit more. But I can't say what exactly. I don't want spoilers and whatnot, because hopefully you guys are gonna read this thing one day. So but I think it's going to make my story even better. This is the part of the revising where I'm just like tightening and making things better and making things clearer, and I could ramble about it. So I have, okay, half of my reviews are on my computer because people emailed me their electronic copies, but half of them are actually printed out. Is this it? No. And those are in this stack. I don't know if you can see all those. So those are all just my first half of one of my chapters feedback. I think I might have more in that bag too. So you're gonna see me this weekend sitting on the floor with all of them, taking notes on all of them, and using those and brainstorming ideas that I've come up with to just kind of tighten up my outline, re-outline, and really prepare for these heavy rewrites, especially coming up in NaNoWriMo in November. So I'm excited. Also, another big thing this weekend, more of on a personal note, and this is hard for me to say. I'm like so sad and so excited at the same time. It's so confusing, but we are getting a new car, which is the exciting thing. But the sad thing is we are getting rid of my baby, my Miley. I have had this car before I had my license. I thought I was 15 when I got it, but checking the title, I was actually just turned 16. And I didn't get my license until I was like 16 and a half. So yeah, I've had this car for 10 years, like a little over 10 years. It's a bright orange 2005 Dodge Neon, and I'm sure I'm going to have a clip of it in a bit before we sell it, or before we turn it over. It has a lot of problems. It needed to be sold like probably 2 years ago. For the last like 6 months, we haven't been able to take it on the highway. It's basically just been a grocery store car and to visit my friend who lives a few miles away. So it's not a very efficient car. And with the holidays coming up, we just realized we really needed something that we could use because renting is really expensive. Yeah, so we're getting a new car. And I'm really sad, but my mechanic here, who I absolutely adore, he knows how much I love my car. He's done so much work on it. Anthony's here, my squirrel, or did we name this one Queequeg? Anthony was in Rochester. Oh my god, squirrels love this branch. Sorry, I just have to show you. Every, like, multiple times a day we have squirrels. Isn't he cute? They're always so cute. Anyway, ooh, ran to a chair. He knew how sad that I was to get rid of my car, and my car has a lot of rust problems. That's its #1 issue. Really, its only issue, because all the inner parts have been replaced and repaired. It's just the body of the car is like not holding up anymore, and so it's not worth anything. Like, it's gonna be sold for parts. But so he took off the fuel door as like a little memento, and he said, you know, I should get it like inscribed. I forget, engraved. I forget what the terminology for it. With like my car and like a date or something. I don't know. And it's her name's Miley. Named after, yes, Miley Cyrus. I name all my vehicles after Disney stars. Like, my bike's name is Demi, after Demi Lovato. It's just a weird thing I've done since I was a kid. So my car's name is Miley, and she is finally going into little car heaven. I'm sad. I'm excited, I'm sad. I don't know how to feel. So once I'm done working from home today, I am going to go and clean her out, get everything out of there, remove what I can of the decals off the windows, because I want to try and keep them. I thought about maybe even getting like a frame and just sticking them to a frame so I have them. They have all my schools on there, and I have my high school one, which I don't even think they make that one anymore, so that's why I really want to keep that one. Like, I'd be really sad if I couldn't get it off completely, like altogether. I'm also going to clean the inside. Even though it's being sold for parts, I just feel like I want it to be clean and presentable and like give her a last good love. I don't know. And usually Zach drives to his parents' house, which is where we're going this weekend and where the car dealership is. But I'm going to drive her on her last ride. I'm so sad. I'm like smiling, but trust me, I've been crying about this. Like, I actually sobbed the day we found out we were officially getting the car on Saturday, like last week. That's probably like one of the reasons I too haven't really picked up the camera. I've been in a weird place this last week, so I don't know. I've been stressed about weird things. But I'm feeling better now. The temperature is going back down. It was like back in the high 80s yesterday, and it just like, ugh. Mentally, I'm good now. I needed like a mental break. I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. let's do this. So I realized I kind of turned the camera off without talking about this, but I remembered yesterday was World Mental Health Day, and I know a lot of people in the writing community suffer with mental health issues and struggles, so I thought I would just kind of like talk about it. So I don't have any serious diagnosed things. Like I wasn't clinically diagnosed, but I have had like depressive moments in my life. I hesitate to use the word depression because, like I said, I was not diagnosed, I wasn't treated. I just know how I personally felt. And I don't have anxiety, like I said, never diagnosed, never been to a therapist or anything, but I do have like anxious and what I call spinning thoughts, where I'll get this problem or this stressor in my head and it spins. Like I think about it constantly and I can't stop thinking about it, and I don't get anywhere with it, and it like takes over until I feel like I don't know how to explain it. So that tends to happen when I haven't really done good self-care and good relaxation. I love being in classes, and I love my job, and I love YouTube and making videos and editing. I love everything I do, but this summer was a huge change, working full-time and going back to school. Well, it was one class, it wasn't like crazy, but now I'm doing two, working full-time, and I have a long commute and I don't have much time at home, and when I am at home I feel this pressure to constantly be working or catching up on these videos, and on the weekends when I'm not working I feel a pressure to do other things. So I haven't taken like a really good day where I just didn't do any work, where I just like actually allowed myself to relax and not think, and that really started to build up. And so that sick day I took, which I think was probably the last clip I filmed that wasn't today, I did feel ill, like I had a headache and I felt gross and horrible, but a huge part of it I think was mental. I think I just needed a day, and I am a huge activist for mental health days. Like, your mind is the most important, or one of the most important organs in your body, and I think you should feel 100% justified in taking a sick day if you mentally need one, for whatever reason that is. I'm not saying to take days off all the time. Like, I have yet to take a sick day at this job. I've been there almost a year now, and so I was like, you know what, like I felt like so guilty about it, because I mean, like I said, I did have a headache, and like I knew going to work that day was gonna be hell if with that headache, but like I just mentally needed it too. So I spent that day, I thought I was gonna film more, but I actually just spent that day relaxing, playing the Nancy Drew game. I did edit and upload a video, so it was like I did a little bit of work, but I don't really think of that as work. Like, I like doing this stuff. This is what I want to do on my days off. Same with writing sometimes. Like, it does bring me joy and it makes me happy, but it still is work. So I've been trying to remember, even with everything going on, and I even filmed a video about how I juggle it all, and I think I kind of lost some of that. Like, I forgot some of what I talked about with the importance of turning my mind off, you know, meditating, if you want to call it that, and just like having those moments of just doing something that brings me 100% pure joy that I don't have to do, and letting myself relax. Because, and I don't want to sound like I'm this huge workaholic and I work all the time and I'm super diligent, because I'm not. But the thing is, when I don't work super hard, I feel guilty, and like I think everyone can relate to what I'm talking about, where like you're procrastinating something, you have so much to do and you feel so overwhelmed, so you like watch TV and you don't even enjoy it, but you're just like stressed watching Netflix. You know what I mean? Like I think having moments where you allow yourself guilt-free to do those things makes you even more productive and ready, because like I feel so much more well-rested since just having that one day, and I was able to enjoy the weekend, and now like this week at work I've been so productive, and I have felt so much better about the job I'm doing and what I'm doing, and yeah, and I feel ready to tackle my writing again full on this weekend. So I guess that's just what I wanted to come on and talk about, especially with NaNoWriMo coming up, because I think there's going to be a lot of pressure that month to get a lot done, and I've put some of that pressure on myself too. I think it's important to remember to give yourself that time, give yourself a day, and don't feel guilty about needing it. It's the big thing. I know, all easier said than done, but I just wanted to come on and say that because I think sometimes whenever I pick up this camera is when usually I am being productive and thinking about my writing, and so I think when I edit all these clips together, it probably looks like that I'm a super productive person and I get all this stuff done, and I don't want you to ever feel bad about yourself if you aren't that way, because trust me, I'm not either. Like, I watch a lot of Hulu and play a lot of Sims and Nancy Drew. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I watched all of American Horror Story Roanoke in 2 days. So I take breaks, and I do it with a lot of guilt, and I'm trying to work on that. Because I think if you can take breaks without that guilt, you're even more productive when you are ready. Like, it's all about balance, and just guilt is like the worst emotion in my opinion, because it just makes you feel bad all the time, and you don't feel productive when you feel guilty. Like, working through something because you feel guilt and anxiety, like, you're just not going to put out as good quality of work in my opinion. So, but I'm not a therapist, so what do I know? And I just wanted to say too, I have been like really focusing on like clean eating and like doing better. So I don't know if you noticed, I lost a little bit of weight. It's not just the angle. I probably don't look any different to you. I feel like I look different. My hands feel small. Like, I feel different. So so that's been a huge bonus too in helping me feel better, is, you know, eating good foods and running again. I feel like I can't run in the summer. It's too freaking hot. But now that it's cooled down, oh, I have the best runs. 60-degree running is the best. Fahrenheit, that is. I know I have a lot of Canadian viewers, so I don't know what that is in Celsius. All right, I have to get back to work though. I have 45 more minutes to go working from home today, and I'm working from home again on Monday, and in just 2 weeks is NaNoWriMo and my cruise, where I'm having an actual vacation, my first vacation since I started working. Guys, I am so excited for this cruise. We have a balcony view, so I'm gonna be able to wake up every morning, drink some coffee on my balcony, and just look out at the open ocean. I'm so excited to take you guys with me on that. I think it's gonna be really, really awesome. Then again, maybe I'm gonna hate cruises. I've never been on a cruise, so watch me get super seasick the entire week. Okay. These are all my parking permits. As you can see, they're quite faded. These are from college and when I worked in Red Cross. And over here, this is from high school. And this is her big, as I said, she's a little rusty. And don't worry, I always have a Miley Cyrus CD in here. I freaking love her new album. All right, I've been stared at long enough in this car, taking weird pictures. So I am going to get cleaning. Don't judge me if you think the carpet is really dirty, but as you can see, I haven't cleaned out anything in this car yet. I keep it very like, I don't like clutter in cars. I mean, I have like CDs in the pocket there because I still have a CD player right here. But I don't like things surrounding me like trash and napkins and chaps. I don't like clutter in cars. So not too much to clean out, mostly just the stuff that like is in the glove compartment and in the pockets. And to just generally clean it because I want her to look good, you know? Also, super fun fact. Oh, I have Windex wipes? No way. Oh, probably all dried out. Clearly I don't use them that much. I don't know if I have one in here. But usually, yes I do. I always keep a lollipop in my car. I used to have a huge one that I got from like a carnival, or I think someone gave it to me. But I always keep a lollipop in my car because in high school and in college, I used to get tired, like really tired driving at night, and licking the lollipop constantly kept me wide awake. So I always keep one in here and it always gets so melted. I know, that is disgusting. I guess I'll throw this one out. But I've just always done that. It's like my little good luck charm. Don't judge me. Yeah, I'll probably do that with the new car. I'll put a lollipop in the glove compartment. I know, it's so weird, but I swear to God, I've never been in a car accident, never gone off the road, never fallen asleep, nothing. So some people have like little angel on the dashboard. I have a lollipop in the glove compartment. I also have ketchup because you never know when you need ketchup. Honestly, it's probably been in there for years. I should throw that out too. Just drive. Just get out of here. Bye, baby. Alright, Zach, we're in your new car. What do you think?
Well, it's our new car now. We went over this.
Yeah, you want to say why?
I'm very bad at writing checks. That's why.
And he only brought one check, so I ended up having to write the check.
I thought it was symbolic. Finished checkbook with a new car.
That's okay. Here's the new car. We're just exploring it. No, oh, shut it off. That's okay. Exploring all the gadgets now. I'm not used to this. Though it still has a CD player, so I put my Miley Cyrus CD in. I'm not gonna lie. There she is.
Got trunk button, ready? More time. Nope.
I think it just unlocks the trunk. I don't think it pops it open. There she is. And she even has a backup camera.
I think it's locked automatically.
Oh. We're gonna set the car alarm off and we're not gonna know how to shut it off. Hey guys, so I can't remember if I said that I was going to work on this at Zach's parents or not, but this weekend went by so fast, so crazy. Saturday we got the new car and then we ended up heading back home earlier today than we planned. So I am here and I will be working on my outline at home. Right now Zach is in the living room watching sports because apparently it's a big day for Boston. The Patriots and Red Sox are playing. I don't know. So I have banished myself to the bedroom so that I can work a little bit more peacefully. And my laptop is charging right now, so I can't use it while it's charging because our bedroom doesn't have 3-prong outlets. Yeah, living in New England with all these old houses may seem romantic, but it gets annoying really fast. So first, what I'm going to do to re-outline my book, I'm going to go through all of my notes from my classmates. I kind of wish I had printed off all the electronic ones too. These were just the handwritten notes, just because I do like having that physical note. And a lot of what people commented on were reactionary things. So saying like if they loved it, saying if a certain part confused them, kind of reacting and explaining how they interpreted my chapter, which is a really great technique for beta reading in general, because that's what you want. You want to know if something's confusing, you want to know if something's being interpreted wrong. For example, one of the things that my classmates talked about my story with was the way some of the characters were related to one another, and they actually interpreted that one of my characters was the mother of 3 younger boys, and she is not. So I knew right away I had to fix that because more than one person was confused on that. Like, I wanted their relationship to be a little mysterious, but not actually interpreted so strongly, you know, because then if your reader is that confused, like, it's okay to be a little bit like not quite sure how people relate and like have that be kind of a twist, but you don't want them to be so confused and so determined in their own thinking that when they get to the big reveal they're like, wait, what? Because then it just looks bad on you as a writer. So I am going to sit here, go through all of my notes and just kind of jot down troublesome areas, things that people definitely liked that I'll be keeping, things that a lot of people seem to not like, and I'll make note of that to change. And then once I'm done going through everybody's notes, I'm going to go back to my outline with my own notes because I've had some thoughts on what I want to change as well, and re-outline it and prepare for the rest of October's rewrites and NaNoWriMo, which this November I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before. Even though I'm not doing it properly, I think I'm going to end up writing a lot more than 50,000 words because I want to get this book on solid ground. And for my classes, I have to turn in a total of 60 pages, I think. So I want those, at least those first 60 pages to be flawless. Now, I am ready. It also matches my socks. I don't know if you can see them. Okay, I'm clearly procrastinating now.
If I could take you up in boom boom bosh, boom boom, tell me I'm the only one that you love. Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Life could be a dream. Plans would come true. Spend my whole life loving you. Life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Okay, so I just finished going through, so one of my classes pages of notes, so that's half the notes, about 15 people. Oh my god, it was just as draining as when I had to sit there and listen to them talk about my book in the workshop. But it is fantastic. I took even more notes, mostly things that people pointed out that I'm like, oh my god, you're totally right, I need to change this. A lot of the notes I was like, I don't need to change it, more will be revealed later, as long as it wasn't impacting your ability to move forward. Okay, so I have a lot work cut out for me. Oh my god. I feel like writing in a lot of ways is like science, and that it seems the more you learn and figure out, the more questions you have. The deeper I go into my story, the more uncertain I am about it. But I do love it, and I feel like the more I dive and the more I think about things, it just unravels more and more and more. Like when I first started this story, when I first outlined it, it felt very clear and basic to me, which basic I think is never a good thing. And now it's just this huge web of things that I am linking together and tightening and removing some of the webs and just pulling it together to make it a really tight story. Now I'm going to grab my laptop, I think it's charged probably enough, and work on re-outlining based on the notes I've read. Oh no, first I have to go through my other online notes. But once I do that, then I will officially start re-outlining. And you're gonna kill me. For those of you who've been watching me for a long time, I feel ridiculous saying this, and I'm not gonna say it anymore because I just feel ridiculous. But I have to rewrite chapter 1. Oh my god. One thing that my professor said in my last class, and I actually think I fully support this and fully adopt this, and I know I need to start moving forward, but I just want to make sure that it all lines up right. But he says, honestly, you shouldn't write your beginning until the end. Like, you can write a fake beginning, but then stop stressing about it until the end, because one of the lessons that we had to do for class, or sorry, one of the homework assignments that we had to do for class was take some of our books and read the first 10 pages and the last 10 pages and notice how more often than not, usually always, it circles back. So a theme or a question is answered and it links back together. So that's why, you know, you write your beginning of your book and then you go to the end, and the ending will tell you where the story should start. My problem is I've already written my ending, and so to me it's like, I don't know, revising is so interesting because I have the story where I want it. Yeah, some of the characters and relationships are changing, but the heart of the story is there and the theme of the story is there. And so it's just a matter of where do I want to start it, because my story takes place over a great length of time, and I feel like each snapshot is so important, but I don't want to start at the very, very beginning, because then it just kind of be like I want some jumping back. In my head, I do have outlined how exactly I do want to start the story now. I want to start with my young adult characters, which, since this is a young adult novel, this is something that I probably should have put together myself, but it wasn't until my teacher pointed out for me that it became super obvious. I don't remember if I've talked about in these videos, but one of the things she mentions is that if you're writing a young adult story, you need to have young adults. Seems super obvious, like young adult characters. And I had younger characters, but I was doing it more of like a Nancy Drew Hardy Boys feel, where if you've read those, you know that they are like 18 to 20, which was fine during that time, because when Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys were originally written, young adult wasn't a genre. They had children's books and adult books, and a lot of times in children's books you had adult main characters, and that's just the way things were done. Things are different now, and I'm not saying you have to follow all trends. That's fine to do your own thing, but I happen to agree with her on this point that it makes sense and it makes my story, I think it would be stronger to have actual young adults start the story. So that means I have to shift the scene, and originally I did have the young adults starting the story in a certain setting that immediately introduced them to Anna. Like, it was a certain scene, the first scene I envisioned for this book, but I don't think that's where I actually want to start the story. I'm gonna go even further back that way, because right now the scene that I have as, or had as the beginning, had too many characters in it, and a lot of comments that I got back was that it was very confusing. You know, you can have a scene like that with a lot of characters and a lot of minor and major characters, but when you don't have your established major characters, the major ones get lost with the minor. Like, you don't know who's important, who you should be paying attention to. You know, if that random guy in the corner, is he gonna be a main character? I don't know. And so that's not a good first scene. So I'm actually gonna take this story and go even further back in my timeline of events and just start it with 3 basic characters, and from there then unfold into this scene, which is now going to be the later chapter. So my story is kind of shifting. So when I started this semester of classes, or started writing this fall, I had my first part of my story, or I had the first part of my chapter and the last part of my chapter. So now the end of my chapter is actually going to be the beginning of chapter 2, I think, and I'm going to shift. And so I'm going to have a whole new beginning and have the first part of chapter 1 be the end of chapter 1. Honestly, at this point, chapters are so arbitrary because really it's just broken up by scenes. But that is where re-outlining is going to come in. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to sit down and figure it out, because I have so many thoughts and ideas jumbled in my head, and I need to just officially decide what I want to do. I'm probably going to change my mind at some point, but I feel closer. It's starting to feel like, yes, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you finally have figured out a plot point, or you finally figured out a twist, or just that perfect solution, you know in your heart when it's right, and it's like, yep, that's the perfect fit. That's the solution. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm starting to get to that point with how everything is going to completely unfold. So I'm going to grab my laptop. I'm going to finish going through my reader notes, and then I'm going to get to work on my outline. Now, if you haven't watched my other video, I don't think I did an outline video, but I had a video where I showed pictures of my outline, and I'll put that in a card or in the description below. And I put all my like scenes and plot points on sticky notes on 2 huge window panes, and it like overtook my kitchen windows. So I don't necessarily need to do that again, because I really just want to tweak my outline. I'm probably going to change a lot of it, but I think I'm just going to do it on the computer and just work on the file outline that I have there, which is about 30 pages. It's really long. It's kind of mind-boggling to me just how far my story has come. Like, from when I started taking classes and actually started getting real reader feedback the beginning of summer to where I am now, mid-October, so much has changed. And I'm really glad that I started getting reader feedback when I did, because I think I would have wasted a lot of time perfecting the version of my story I had now, or had then. And it just, I had a lot of deeper issues that I was completely blind to as the author. I didn't realize what parts were confusing necessarily until I started getting that feedback. So I think, I don't know, I think there is a lot of value to having someone look at your work earlier on to be able to stop you in your tracks and be like, whoa, 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 you're starting this book completely wrong, or whoa, whoa, the POV is completely wrong, like you need to change this first, or, you know, something like that. Because now I feel like I'm building a better foundation for my story. I'm like really excited for NaNoWriMo, just because I can tell that at no point am I gonna be sitting there like, I don't know what to work on, I don't know what to do, because I know all the things I have to do. I have so much to do. And oh my god, like I think this November, I said it before, but it's gonna be so busy, and I kind of just feel like I just have to dive in. Like, I'm at this point where I have all this great information, notes, feedback, ideas, that I feel like I can't just like work on it a little bit at a time, like, oh, 100 words here, 100 words here. I just have to like dive in for like hours at a time and just dump all of my thoughts and words. And yeah, I'm like really scared for November because I can tell I'm not gonna get much sleep. No, I'm gonna try to be better about that.
Yeah.
What? Are they playing now?
No.
Life could be a dream, sweetheart. Life could be a dream. And I think down plans would come true.
Okay, I just had to turn the camera back on really quick because I'm about halfway through my digital reading feedback, and one of my classmates made the best suggestion. So, oh my god, like, it is perfect. I don't quite know how it's going to unravel completely yet, but what she suggested with one of my characters, I feel like it's just gonna solve a lot of my backstory and info dumping problems. And it's really exciting. So, oh my gosh, Mary, if you ever watch these, I already sent you an email thanking you profusely, but thank you. I love your suggestion. I'm totally gonna do it, and I'm excited. Okay, so I just finished going, ooh, you're moving. Going through all my digital notes. I am actually pretty tired. It's so exhausting. It's hard to describe, but it's so exhausting going through feedback on your work because you just like, your mind starts spinning in 1,000 different possibilities and you start to have such a rush of ideas. So it is 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to actually go to bed before working on my outline. I kind of just want to marinate on everything like I did before and have a fresh brain for tomorrow morning when I start to rework it. And I think once I finish my outline, I'm gonna close this entry of video because that seems like a pretty good stopping point. But okay, I will see you guys in the morning then when we get to work on the outline. Okay, bye. And I just wanted to say really quickly too, after going through all my feedback and reading all my notes and what people have to say about it, I mean, it's one thing to, in your head, think your story could be good, but maybe you just can't pull it off. But then it's another thing, or not that you can't pull it off, but that you realize the hard part will be pulling it off and like writing it well. But it's another to actually get so much confirmation from other people that you actually have something good. Like, guys, I think this could be really good. Like, and I'm not just saying that, like, it's a weird feeling to have, but I feel like if I can really focus and really just get all of my thoughts down right and really, I feel like I'm on the tip of something great. And like I said, it doesn't really feel like bragging or anything because it almost doesn't even feel like my story anymore. Like, I feel like I've put it out there so much and I've gotten so much feedback and I've gotten to know my characters so well that it's almost as if the story itself is there and I just have to uncover it and translate it down. I sound psychotic right now, I know, but just, I don't know, I just have a good feeling about this. Like, I think it could be really good. We'll see. Good morning, guys. So as I'm sitting down to work on my outline this morning, I realized grabbing all my papers, one of the annoying things about being a writer for me, and this just goes into my own like disorganization problem, but oftentimes I get ideas in the worst of times when I don't have like a notebook or anything, and so I resort to just writing on the back of things. And so I have to figure out like where I kept all the important notes. Like, I'll be sitting down to work, and I'll be like, wait a second, I remember I wrote down this really good idea that solved this problem. Now what did I write it on? I need to get better about carrying around like a little idea notebook. Hey guys! Oh, I wish my hair had volume like this, but instead it's like... So I realized I never closed out this week's, actually this has probably been over 2 or 3 weeks worth video. Hopefully it's not too long when I edit it. It's gonna be pretty long. Really, the main focus of my writing and of the last couple weeks with our stories has been really trying to figure out how to shape and tighten your story and what it is you're even trying to say. I don't just mean theme. So in my writing the novel class, one of our assignments, our midterm exam, it was 1 sentence long, and it was simply, well actually it was a question too, what is your major dramatic question? So the major dramatic question of any novel is, what is the thing your characters are trying to do? So in a murder mystery, it might be a whodunit, like who killed Roger Rabbit? I don't know, I've never even seen that movie. But so for mine, like you think it's gonna be easy, right? So think about your book right now. Let me get the correct definition though, because I don't want to mess this up. Okay, so yeah, so just to read what my professor wrote about the assignment. Stories traditionally begin by raising some question in the reader's mind. Novels often raise several questions early on. The big one, the major dramatic question, is answered at the end, the conclusion, the climax of the story. So using Hamlet as an example, actually I've never read Hamlet. I think I was supposed to in high school, but it was one of those things that I actually didn't read and just pretended to read. You know what I mean. The question in Hamlet is, will Hamlet avenge his father's murder? So here's the definition. The major dramatic question of a narrative is the question that's asked at the beginning and answered at the end. It's the biggest issue that the main character grapples with throughout the story, and when the question is answered, the story is over. As you can see, that's a pretty simple explanation. Sounds easy, right? No, it's not. Like, I think that's a problem that a lot of pantsers have, is they have this idea of a story and they have characters and they might even have the inciting incident, but they don't know what the major dramatic question of is. And that's what gets your story to kind of just start to go all over the place. Like, when you don't have a clear path, you can easily get lost. And I think this exercise is really good, especially if you're revising, because drafting, there are 1,000,001 ways to draft, but I think when it comes to revising and editing, it's really important to figure out what is it your character, what question is your character trying to answer, or what is your novel trying to answer. And I think having that question in mind is a really useful way to make sure that at every given point, you're staying true to that thing. So like, obviously with novels, there's subplots, there might be, you know, other questions, but this is the big one. And so for my novel, at first I was like, I don't know. I don't know what the major drag, like there's a bunch of things. They're trying to find this, they're trying to do this, and like, but no, it's what is the one that's at the beginning. And so mine just very simply, for those of you who know about my story, The Legend of the Crystal Skulls, in the beginning, early on, you figure out that one of the skulls has been missing. And this has caused an unbalance of things. And so the major dramatic question is, will, because the story starts with, will Jess, Paul, Anna, my main characters, find the missing skull? And when that question is answered, my story is over. So it's like, okay, got it. But it took me a really long time to really nail that and tighten that. But once I said it, once I thought, I was like, oh yeah, that's so obvious. That's what the question is. I hope that made sense. I just thought that was a really useful exercise and assignment that we got from my class. And it really is helping me tighten things. Because like I said, with my revisions, I just am trying to pull everything tighter. It's like I, you know, knitted this great story and now I'm pulling it tight to shape into something great. And we've been talking a lot more, like I said, about beginnings and ends. He mentioned, my professor for this class that we had to do this assignment, he mentioned when it comes to revisions and editing, one thing you should always do is have your first 10 pages and your last 10 pages, put them side by side and make sure that they address each other. So that is it for this week. It's only 2 more weeks now until NaNoWriMo. I feel like I've gotten a lot done. I didn't really show my outlining process, and that is because I'm not done. I started to re-outline and it's going well. I feel like I'm adding a lot, but I'm also taking a lot of complications out, like world building things I'd thought of. It's like, no, why am I complicating this? Like, let the story itself be good enough. I don't need to add all these extra little elements just for my own kicks and giggles. And I think it's making it a lot better. So that was one of the things I knew coming into my revisions. If you've seen my video I did about everything wrong with my first draft, I knew that it was too plot driven and not enough character driven. And now with this second draft, this first round of the revisions, I'm making it all about the characters and who are these people? What do they want? What is it that they're, you know, how are they going to grow in this book? And how are their choices going to help define them and help define the story? So yeah, and then I think once the second draft is done, then December is going to be all about making sure everything looks good and fits good. And I know realistically I could probably do 1,000 drafts, and like by the end of December, is it going to be the best that it possibly can? I don't know. Like, I'm sure that there's a million and one ways I can continue to tighten it, but like I mentioned, I really want to just start putting it out there. So see what an agent thinks about it so far, and maybe someone will be willing to take me on and take on my ideas, take on my stories, and we'll see. Also today, just a little personal announcement. I had all my transcripts from my past schools, so my undergrad and my grad. I had them sent to this master's program, and I can officially like submit my application November 1st. So that's also the start of NaNoWriMo. So like November 1st is gonna be a really big day for me. Like, and then I find out in February if I am accepted into the program. So fingers crossed, guys. But yeah, we're about halfway through this halfway through this semester. I am continuously, or just always tired. I'm not great at speaking normally, but when I'm tired, it goes out the window. You guys have seen me struggle to pronounce things. That is just constant now. What am I reading? I am going to tell you what I just finished reading, and that is Death on the Nile by Agatha Christie. I liked it. This is like one of the most known, like I feel like her top 3 are And Then There Were None, Murder on the Orient Express, and Death on the Nile. At least those are the ones that I had heard of before I started reading. In the Hercule Poirot series, I don't know about her. No, And Then There Were None wasn't a Hercule Poirot. Anyway, but I mean, it was really good, and I think it's gonna make a fantastic movie because there's a movie about it coming out next year, because it's very visual and like there are a lot of twists and turns. But I don't know if it's just because I mean, it's number 17 in the series, and I've been reading them in order, so it's like I'm starting to see like, okay, she's doing these very similar, but she is really great about characters and like making them all unique. Like I've never felt like a character has been a repeat. Like I don't know how she did it, how she had all those voices in her head, but I don't know what it was about it. I just didn't love it as much as the others. Like, I've loved other books more. I thought I was gonna love this one just because it's Egypt and it is on a boat, like a cruise boat, and it's like, oh, and so I was like excited to read it right before my cruise, but I don't know, I wasn't crazy about it. It was okay. You know what it was? I guess the ending. And I got it spoiled to me too, because her books have a lot of characters, and especially when I'm doing audiobooks, it's hard to keep all the characters straight, and so I kind of like looked up a character cheat sheet, and the freaking person that made this one put who the murderer was like in the description of the character, and I was like, thanks. But it was who I thought it was, like who I strongly thought, so I wasn't even that disappointed. I was just like, well, yeah, that seems like where I was headed. And so normally, like, she really blows my mind with a twist, but this one I feel like there weren't a lot of clues and cool things to figure out. It was just kind of like information that I wouldn't have known like through the book, so I don't know. Anyway, just my opinion. That's it for now. How are you guys feeling when NaNoWriMo right around the corner? Who's doing it? Who's not doing it? If you are doing it, why? If you're not, why not? And are you doing it normal? Are you doing it different? Let me know all of those answers. All right. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
love.